Okay. Well, we have Samantha Evans. Goes by Sammy, though, for those that know her
Wait,
and
you
love
already
her.
started?
Oh, we're doing it.
Oh, my
I'll
gosh.
clip this out
Okay.
and everything like that. So I know you were really nervous about this, but this is going to be a lot simpler and easy than you thought. I just, so Samantha is a real estate agent with Compass on the Landy Frost team.
Yep.
Right.
Landy Frost Group. LFG.
There you go. For life. How long have you been with them?
Let's see, 1 year in January.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then prior to that, I mean, you were with Compass, worked with some other teams. Were you ever with them when they were with 12 Rivers or no?
No.
Okay. Mm-mm. So you and I met through one of my past colleagues, Beth Langley. I miss her to pieces.
Me too. She just upped and left us.
I know. Shout out to Beth. But that's how we originally met, and I helped with the purchase of your first home. Mm-hmm. And then that was 6 years ago. About
2020, yeah.
Yeah, about 5.5 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, yeah, because today is my son's 6th birthday.
Oh, wow.
And we closed on our first house with you 2 days before I gave birth to him.
So, yeah, almost 6 years ago to the moment.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
I know.
But we got it done. You guys were extremely nervous, thought there was no way you could buy, and then we made it happen.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
So at the time, you were doing floral stuff.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You were running your own business, doing the floral stuff. What made you decide to get into real estate?
Oh, man.
Was that the next thing? I don't even know. So it went from floral to...
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I owned a floral design company in Austin, had a storefront on the east side. COVID happened, so I moved my business into our garage at our new house.
Yeah.
And I ended up selling the company in, I think, 2020, maybe 2023, I think.
Okay. You were doing something floral related, though, with real estate, weren't you?
No. So once I sold the company, I was like, what the heck is next? Like,
Got it.
I've always been a worker, so I was like jonesing to, get a job. I had a newborn, though, so that made it a little bit tricky. And I had 3 babies, actually.
Right. I was going to say, at that time.
Because I had twins in 2022. Anyway, so I needed something that was obviously flexible because all of my kids were at home with me still at the time. I was kind of just like jogging my memory of old regulars of mine at the coffee shop that I had worked at during my floral career. Houndstooth Coffee, shout out.
Yeah,
the best.
Love Houndstooth.
Yeah, but anyways, I remembered one of my regulars, Lisa Munoz, and I had always looked up to her because she's such a hustler and just like such a wonderful spirit. And so I just reached out to her and asked her like, hey, do you happen to have like a need for someone on your team? Like, if so, what does that look like? And she actually did. She needed an assistant. So I took the role, worked from home with the kids. I was with them for like 6 months, and I kind of just like got the itch to get my license from just seeing her and her business. And it just seemed like so much fun and so life-giving. And so I gave her my notice, sadly, so that I could fully focus on getting my license. Got my license within 3 months, and I
never looked back.
Way. Yeah.
I feel like I drive Lisa crazy because I reach out to all the listing agents for every offer that's made, and she has like a ton of listings, so I call her a lot, and I feel like I'm on her like block list,
No, Lisa loves talking on the phone.
Yeah. I always say to real estate agents, a lender, I'm like a vampire. They're like, oh, not another lender. So, but I'm just calling to express the strength of the approval for the buyer. That's all.
It's a good call.
Right? I don't want to bother her too much. So you made the call, got into real estate, never looked back. What's that like navigating, being a real estate agent and a mom of 3, 2 of which are twins?
It is not easy.
Okay.
Not for the faint of heart. You definitely have to, sacrifice some family time. But I mean, real estate is a hustle, so you just have to be ready to hustle, regardless of like what your personal life looks like.
Sure.
Thankfully, I've always had that mindset. I've always been a hustler.
Yeah.
So it kind of came easy, I think, and naturally for me. But I definitely have memories of like I would have the kids in the car with me, like driving to showings, and I'd have to like, heads up, guys, like I've got 3 kids with me. Sorry, not
Right.
sorry. That was always a little interesting. It was easier then because they were so little. Like they literally just like sit in their little carrier, you know?
Sure.
Now I could not do that. They're like
Got to start teaching them how to sell.
crazy. I know. Well, they have gone on a few showings with me, all 3 of them, and we practice. We call it duck hands. So I like make them put their hands behind their backs and make like little duck tails because I'm like, you can't touch anything.
Okay.
No running. Like these are not your toys.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was not easy in the beginning. But also, I think as a newer agent, your work flow is slow anyways. So
Yeah.
it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's not like the business is just like completely booming.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You've so if I'm doing the math correctly, you're coming up on year 3 or you're in year 3?
I'm like 3.5 years. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I got licensed in March of 2023.
Got it.
Yeah. My first sale was August 29th, 2023.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, we're basically 3 years in.
Yeah.
I tell everyone, I mean, that's really from my experience as someone who, has been doing this a very, very long time and just watching agents, tracking agents, all of that. It's typically right around year 3 when things really start to, take off.
Mm-hmm.
By take off, I mean like you've done enough transactions, you've seen, a reasonable amount of things. You kind of have a general idea of what's going on. You probably have like your schedule, your systems, what have you. And I find that that's
You like
usually,
really get in the groove.
Yeah, I mean, because it's no secret most agents don't make it to year 3.
Yeah, I know. I feel very proud of that.
Yeah, you should.
And I will say, like, toot my own horn a little bit.
Yeah,
I feel
please.
like I entered into this industry in a very, very hard time. Like the market the last 2 years has been so rough. So, yeah, I feel proud.
Well, here's the good news. As someone who's trained a lot of salespeople, I find that if you get in at a really good time, it's kind of cool because you hit the ground running, but then you leave a ton of money on the table. If you do it the way that you're doing it, it is a lot more difficult in the beginning because it's a grind. But this business always picks back up, and when it does, you can be confident in knowing that like you're not going to leave a bunch of money on the table. You're going to have a sphere of influence. You're going to have past clients, things like that. And the only thing I can encourage is that I'm always a little surprised that when this business kind of really does take off, I'm surprised at the amount of agents that will claim that they like need a work-life balance. And it's like, this business will give you balance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
And so when you feel like you're really, really busy, I encourage you to really lean into that and remind yourself that like, usually for about 18 to 24 months, I mean, the last one we had was really long and that was awesome. But usually for about 18 to 24 months is when you can really, really clean up. And I watched a lot of people, unfortunately, throughout my career that go, oh, I'm just so busy. I need a vacation. I need to slow down. And then, 18 months go by and they're like, where's all the deals? And it's like, oh, like,
You slacked off.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. This is not the career for like a steady, source of income, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I was used to that with the floral world too. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
That didn't come to surprise, as a surprise to me. But I mean, it still makes it hard.
Sure. So what are you doing to stay afloat, basically? I mean, one of the things that I've done with this podcast is that, I want to be, a little bit of a resource, for lack of a better term, when other agents are like, oh, let's see what, Sammy has to say about her business and everything like that. Like, what would you say is keeping you afloat that newer agents would want to hear?
Oh gosh, I still feel like I'm a newer agent. So
well, I
giving
mean,
advice seems
you
odd.
are in the grand scheme of things, but there are agents out there right now that are just got their license, or maybe got their license last year. They're 1 year in, like, you're going through kind of the same thing they are, but you've done it 3 more times.
Good point.
So,
I mean, I am just, continuing to obviously nurture my people, continuing to just like plant little seeds, letting them know that I'm still here.
I get your newsletter every Friday.
Yeah, my newsletter. I send out like a what's happening this weekend.
That's what I'm talking about. I get that every Friday.
Yeah, and then I do a monthly newsletter too. And my monthly newsletter is awesome because it's not just like the same,
Yeah.
generic real estate trends and updates and da-da-da. Like I put a lot of personal stuff in there too. And because my business comes from my personal sphere. So
Sure.
they like to see that stuff. But also continuing to just like network and befriend other agents and just nurturing those relationships because I've found that that's really important. I mean, I've gotten a lot of business from doing that this year, which has been great. And then obviously like keeping up with my vendors too. Just.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I mean, that's, we talked about it before. It's like I do this Friday networking event, and that's really what it's designed for. I think real estate agents sometimes forget that a lot of their business can come from other agents or,
Totally.
we talk a lot about the importance of making sure that I have this happen all the time where the listing agent is somebody that I know with one of my buyers. And that's such a great call when I get to say, hey, they're like, oh, what are you calling about? I'm like, hey, one of my buyers just wrote an offer on your property. Because at the end of the day, especially, I think one thing that we forget about is that the person who's really making the presentation on behalf of the buyer is the listing agent. When you think about it, you can write a little letter and you can send an email and everything along those lines, but you never get to talk to the actual sellers.
Yeah.
The seller's agent does that. And so when you are able to know who the listing agent is, and say, hey, like, what do we need to do to get this done? The lender knows who the listing agent is. Especially in this market, we're not seeing people making offers at full price or even over ask all the time.
Right.
I mean, kind of almost rarely. And so if that's the case, like, what other leverage do we have?
Right.
Right. And so I've just, I've been just really successful with making sure that I do know as many agents as possible, because anything I can do to increase their confidence when they kind of go into that, conference room, if you will, figuratively, of course, and they're like, hey, we're not getting a full price offer, but let me tell you all the good things about this transaction. Yeah. I feel like agents can be more confident in that sale to their sellers when they know everybody in the transaction.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't think that gets thought about enough.
Agreed. Every transaction should be a team effort, and all sides should show great hospitality.
Yeah. Well, and then when you're like, here's the rocket mortgage approval, it's like, who is this guy type of thing. It's,
I recently had a transaction with a rocket mortgage guy, and I was so annoyed because I felt like I couldn't just like call them, the lender, and be like, okay, tell me all the things. So like, it was you.
Yeah. Those things kind of, I don't know. It's like a big split in the industry. Some people seem to like not know how that works, and others are like very adamant about making sure that they're working with a local lender and everything along those lines. They see the value in it. They see the convenience
it like mom and pop
in it.
vibe,
Something like that. I mean, I think one of the things that I look at this as being bittersweet, but like as, technology and just this industry in general is when things are tight financially, which it's obvious they are, whether you're a buyer or a seller, I start to see things get a little more transactional. And I know that buying completely transactionally and using real estate agents that are, going to discount commissions and stuff is not best practices, but it's hard to explain that to a buyer. And I think what's most important, though, is that as I start to, come to the reality of that, making myself, within reason, of course, extremely available to all parties really has become more of a superpower now than I feel like it's ever been.
Yeah.
And people don't notice it, unfortunately, until it's too late. Offers are accepted and like you're halfway through the process and you're like, are we going to close on time? I haven't heard anything. And You know, next thing you know, people are asking for extra days and whatnot. And
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like right now, buyers seem so timid, and they need a lot of hand holding,
Yeah.
more so than like a first time home buyer, and that's just because, like you're saying, money's real tight right now.
it is.
And so yeah, if I same, like I'm always there for you guys, and more so now than ever, you know.
You got to
before.
be.
Yeah.
What do you, one of the things I always ask people when they first come on, because again, like this, I treat the podcast like the first time you're on here, you know, we want to know about you, know about your business, everything. You mentioned your sphere of influence and everything. Is any of your business like open houses or any kind of lead gen or anything like that?
No lead gen.
Okay.
I cannot.
That's okay.
I was on a team, the first team I was ever on, like right out the gate.
Yeah.
I had to make like X amount of cold
Calls,
calls
yep.
every day, and I quickly learned that that is not my jam. So
I get it.
definitely not lead gen. I also, honestly, I hate open houses.
Okay. No, it's all right.
And like purely from, I love talking to people. I love meeting people. I'm very outgoing, and not because of that, purely just from like a safety standpoint. Like they
Yeah.
really just like freak me out.
No, I get that.
So also, this is not coming from open houses. Now, if my sellers are adamant, like they want an open house every weekend, like by golly, I will be there for sure.
Sure.
But social media for sure.
Okay.
Example, my first transaction ever was actually, I was referred to this couple relocating here from New York City, from a gal that I mostly just know from social media. Like
Yeah.
it's not like her and I were like out getting drinks every weekend, you
Right,
know?
right.
So that's pretty cool. So definitely getting some referrals from social media, and folks just like seeing, thinking I'm super busy on social media,
Yeah.
and they want to be a part of that, you know? So that's a big one. And then I created a nationwide networking referral group
Okay.
with Compass, like all Compass agents.
Yeah.
There's probably like 15 of us now. So we refer each other, and that's been amazing. I think last year we probably had 12 transactions within our little group, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I started that probably year 2 of being licensed. So that's been really fun. What else? Just nurturing my people.
Anything
I
that's
send out
working
like
that you
quarterly
wish
little,
you
like gifts, which is really
Okay.
fun.
I like
just
that.
to like stay top of mind.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Anything you started doing that works that you wish you would have done sooner?
I think networking with more nationwide agents to
Okay.
really bring in that like relocation client, because I mean, people are moving to Austin,
Right.
and I know Austin like the back of my hand. I've lived here my entire life, so
Yeah.
I think I wish I would have started that a lot.
You're one of the
sooner.
unicorns.
That's what they say, but I know a lot of us who have stuck around.
Well, okay.
But I'll take it.
Yeah. So I always ask what, I know that you would be happy to help anyone, but is there someone that you feel like you kind of vibe with better than others? Like, is it men? Is it women? Is it young couples? Is it old couples? Is it, people with kids? Is there like a client that you're like, gosh, I really love working with this type of?
I mean, I love working with all types of clients.
Okay.
Obviously, if it's a family with kids, like
Yep.
I can much more relatable than helping like, first time home buyer like right out of grad school or something, like
Right.
So I mean,
Anyone.
anyone,
Okay.
honestly. I mean,
All right.
unless you're like a terrible person, like a douchebag, like no, I don't want to work with you.
Right. No, I get
Sorry.
that. No, you can swear
Okay.
on this podcast. Yeah, I always as an example for me, I really enjoy working with first-time home buyers. A lot of them ask a lot of good questions, and I find that the process is a lot smoother because when I deal with the guy who typically it's usually a guy who has bought a home or two, he knows the entire process. There's nothing I can explain to him. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
halfway through the process, he's like, well, it wasn't like that the last time I purchased. And it's like,
Right.
well, you know everything. So we didn't go over that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll say I really love working with relocation.
There we
buyers.
go.
Yeah.
I knew we'd get something out of you.
I love the hunt, first of all. And I love educating folks on Austin and like the surrounding areas. Because like I just said, I know it super duper well. And I love Austin. I love living here. So it's easy to
You got to get one of these pages where like, you talk about Austin and all of that kind of stuff. Like, what is it on YouTube? I see a lot of people that do stuff like that.
I should do that.
And then we've had, like we've had the ATX Drinker on here. So he does a lot of like Austin stuff. And we've had Rachel Lately from 512 Bites. And then I forget what the other couple names themselves, but they're in the process of purchasing a home right now. They're having twins.
Hey.
Yeah, I wonder who their agent is. But they've been on here as well, another food influencing group. So you've got to be close to 300 episodes right now. Like we're so, I know I'm like right there. We've almost done 300 episodes total.
Cool.
And you're like, you're probably right there. We're probably in the 290s right now.
You've been asking me forever. And
I have.
Finally.
I have. I feel like you'd be a
courage.
great guest. And, again, with you being a newer agent, I love talking to, we have like Diller Schwartz out of our office, for example, and she's been doing this for a decade. And I've had agents on here who have literally, been in the business for over 30 years. And it's just always really interesting to hear what other people have to say and hear their stories and everything along those lines. And
I'll come back in 30 years and we can compare this interview with that.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, listen, I treat this like working out. You can't just do one episode because then once we kind of get these out and we get the clips out and everything along those lines, then the next thing is we can talk about the market, or we can talk a little bit about some of the scenarios that you've run into that you think people should be mindful of. Diller and I had a big segment on custom building homes, and that was fun. But one other question that I do want to ask is, so you're on a team, and tell me a little bit about the team. Tell me a little bit about what you like or don't like, and I'd love to hear all about what the benefits of that are.
Yeah, sure. I love my team, Landy Frost Group. I tell them often, like
Landy Frost Group. How to get the name?
Tim Landy is one of the team leads, and then Michael Frost,
AKA
Frosty.
Frosty.
Yes.
Got it.
Known for our annual Frosty Gives Back.
Yes, I told him I'd be happy to help out with that. He hasn't gotten back to me yet, though.
Okay, I'll get on him.
Yeah,
he's
let
a
him
busy
know.
guy.
I'm gonna find you.
He's in the Northeast right now.
Yeah,
traveling, but I'll get
Is
on
he
him.
up in
We would love to
Boston?
have you.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's I think he is from. I don't know if he's from Maine or Massachusetts. One of the two.
Massachusetts.
Right. Okay. So Northeast guy, and then Tim is Midwest guy.
Okay. I know a lot more about Mike than I do about Tim. I met both of them when I first moved down here. We went and got coffee, and I run into them all the time. But I'm definitely, I know more about Mike. I've met Mike more than Tim.
Yeah. Well, and Mike, he definitely is like, he talks a lot more than Tim. And he's,
Yeah.
But yeah, they're super great. Like I was saying, I often tell them like they're never going to be able to get rid of me. Like, I'm a lifer.
I love that.
Yeah, I am so grateful for them, for their mentorship. Like, as still a new agent, like, it's crucial to have that mentorship, for sure. So I tried the solo thing for I think 2 months, and I quickly realized nope, this is not for me. I need to be back on a team. And how I know them is kind of a fun story.
Tell me about it.
So, let's see. We'll start with Frosty. So Callie is our head of operations on our team. She's a partner in LFG. She's also Mike Frost's little sister. So her now fiance and my husband have been golf buddies for
no way.
years and years and years. So they knew each other. I remember when I first met my husband, he was telling me about his friend Mitchell, who was a golfer and whose dad worked for Discovery, which I don't know if you know who Discovery is, but they're the ones behind Driftwood and
yeah, I do know. I know Driftwood.
What's the Austin Surf Club? So, anyways, so we have that connection, Mitchell Callie connection, and then also, because of my husband, our other connection with Tim is my husband was a project manager on one of Tim's like biggest transactions, Big View.
Okay, right on.
And so my husband got to know him just from Tim being on site, the project, and so met them through Patrick.
I love that.
Yeah. And what did you ask? Oh,
Patrick just knows everybody.
Yeah, but so do I.
It's true. It's true.
I could tell you so many like small connection stories like that, just because Austin and being from here is actually very small.
Yeah,
Very,
Austin's a
very
village.
small
That's what
town.
I always
Yeah,
say.
for sure. I love it. But yeah, so being on a team is great because, like I said, you get that mentorship. I also I love working with people. Like that was one thing about my previous career in floral is like I was pretty much like by myself all the time, unless I was like in my shop and had like the random, customer come through. So I like that dynamic. Like it just feels good to be working with people. And what else? The culture is really, really nice. It's nice to like hear other agents' stories on our team, like things that they have gone through, like objections or inspection issues or whatever. But yeah, highly recommend being on.
So, as like a newer agent, or even maybe just like a single agent that's floundering, and you might not know the answer to this, but do you know if Mike and Tim are currently taking in new agents, or is like the Landy Frost team just like closed? It's like
funny. That's a hot topic right now with our team.
Is that right?
So, yeah, we are actively looking to add more agents, but we never want to feel like we are like this massive real estate group.
Right.
Culture is really, really important to us, and I think in any business that grows and gets too big, you lose the culture. You lose the magic. So that to them is very, very important. They don't ever want to mess that up. So we are looking for agents, but like.
Well, I make sure I get that clip out. We want to do what we can for the team and everything along those lines, and so that's cool. That's cool. Who does somebody have to reach out to? Anyone on the team? Yeah,
anyone on the team, and we can point you in the right direction. Or Callie, Callie at landyfrostgroup.com. Super easy.
Right on.
I don't know if I should say this. I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
They were picky. Like, I had to interview like 3 times to get on the team. I don't
think there's anything wrong with saying you're picky. I mean, you want to maintain a culture.
Right.
You want to maintain a production, I'm assuming, production standard.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that makes complete sense.
When I first got licensed, I interviewed with them. And at the time, they were still at 12 Rivers. They were a super duper small team. And they just didn't really have, the capacity to bring on a brand new green agent and, cradle them,
Right.
So didn't get on with them at that point, but then revisited and interviewed a handful of times, and they accepted me.
I love that. Congratulations.
Thanks. Joining Landy Frost Group truly changed my business.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a huge testimony right there.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? I mean, obviously we were talking a little bit about the team and everything along those lines, but what do the people need to know about, what you've got going on? Are there any any future events or things that you've got going on? Mm-hmm. One thing that you you didn't mention, and I'm curious to know if you do. I mean, do you do client appreciation or anything like that?
I don't do my own client appreciation, like parties or events.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, I do send out, little just like thinking of you gifts.
Okay.
But as a team, we host an annual like family photos day. Like we pay for the photographer. You can bring your family or your dogs or just you if you need a new headshot.
Right.
So free photos. We do it usually around like October so that folks who send things like holiday cards can get that going. So that's something we do for our clients as a team. And then
is that going to be part of your like online newsletter?
Yes, for sure. It's definitely in there. And then aside from like client appreciation stuff, as a team, we've all kind of adopted Frosty Gives Back. We all promote it like within our own spheres, and try to, get our preferred vendors to, offer something.
What is Frosty Gives Back for those that don't know?
Yeah, so it's a benefit. We raise money for LifeWorks
Okay.
here in Austin. And we do like a silent auction. You can buy your table, and like all these proceeds go.
And what does LifeWorks do?
So LifeWorks, I should know this better than I do.
It's okay. It's not your thing.
They help
Totally.
the unhoused youth.
Okay. Got it.
Help them get on their feet. Yeah,
Good cause stuff.
yeah, good cause stuff.
Right on. I love it. I love it. And I believe that's usually around Christmas time, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, very early December.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, Frosty started planning it like last month. Like it takes a lot of energy to
Yeah.
plan it, and it's a big deal.
So tell me a little bit about your business in regard to, would you consider yourself, you said you're doing a lot of relocations. So is it safe to say that you're kind of more buy-side driven, or do you have a lot of listings, or is it a little bit of both? And
Yeah. I mean, this year I was like first 2 quarters, like super buyer heavy. And before that, I can count on one hand how many buyer clients I've had. So not very many. So super listing heavy. Very different ball games, the two.
Yeah. Is there one that you kind of prefer over the other?
I love both, but
I mean, the
for
reload
different
stuff.
reasons.
Yeah.
Like I love the buy side, like I said, because I know the city so well, and I love the hunt, and I just love to get to know people.
Yeah.
And that brings me so much life. And then on the listing side, I always feel like it's more work. Like I feel like I'm really working.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. So it's like the challenge of the listing side I really, really love.
Yeah. I'd say there's a lot more pressure on the listing side.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So buy side's probably like a little more fun and rewarding.
It is. And what
the
I was going to
listings-
just say is
Yeah.
like on the buy side, I love tearing apart an inspection report.
Okay.
Like truly. So I love being able to negotiate that kind of stuff. So I want more of that.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, what's like the maybe not goal, but like what are the aspirations for the next like 3 to 5 years? I mean, obviously you're really coming into your career. In my opinion, that 3 years is kind of when you start to really realize what you want to do, who you want to be. Like, what's next? Are you gonna start a separate team on Landy Frost, or like start your own brokerage, or take over the world?
God,
like,
no.
no. Okay. Well, what are what's
No,
what are the dreams for the next 3 to 5 years?
I've been the big boss lady before in my previous
Yeah.
business, so
Yeah.
I'm like, I got a taste of that. Like, I'm good. I truly have zero desire to start my own team ever.
There's nothing wrong with
and
that.
not because I'm lazy. I just like I know I wouldn't thrive in that role. Like I know
Yeah.
where I am right now is like that's my bread and butter.
Self-awareness is very important.
Yeah, well, I'm getting there.
Okay.
So I would say in the next 3 to 5 years, I'll still be on Landy Frost Group. Hopefully, like more buyer heavy for sure. And I hope to have so much more confidence.
Okay.
in this role.
Confidence.
Yeah.
I like that. What do you think's what's it gonna take to get you more confident? Just more reps, more transactions?
Yeah, more deals.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like that.
me too.
What
It'd be cool to sell a house on the lake. That would be pretty sick.
that's a good goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be on the buy side. You want to tear the inspection up on that one? All right.
For sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like that.
And more like large acreage ranch deals would be pretty sick too.
I see you kind of
Something
digging
I'm
that.
dipping my toes into this year.
Yeah.
It's been a big learning curve, but I really, really like it.
Well, we're gonna get you in that neighborhood, huh?
That's right.
So when you're not doing real estate and chasing around little ones, what are you doing?
What are hobbies?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I feel.
That's right. So you just no time for that right now.
No, I give my husband grief because his hobbies are golf and hunting. Two of the most time-consuming hobbies
It's true.
a parent could have, any
Yeah.
person could have. And I'm like,
All those
I
Evans
can't
boys love
wait
golf, don't they?
to get a hobby one day that takes 4 hours or days.
Well, I mean, I
But
follow you on social media. You work out.
Yes, I've never been like a sporty gal or a fitness gal, but this year I've been really trying to focus on my fitness and just to like feel healthier and happier, and I'm really enjoying it. So I've got like a little garage gym set up, and
Yeah.
I run here and there. And so that's been really nice. So yeah, that is like a good outlet. It's something that I'm doing when I'm not working or
I've
chasing
been
my
watching you
kids
boxing and everything like that.
oh yeah, well, loosely. But I also like I love going out with my husband. Like we love going to a good old honky tonk
Yep.
and just, meeting people, throwing back some beers.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Those are the things that I think, real estate agents don't talk about enough, because people like to do business with people they like. And, especially if you like really, if you feel like you can get along with your agent, you kind of want to see them win.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always have to, ask, what are the, because you're the professional, any market predictions, anything that you're seeing, feeling? No one's going to hold your feet to the fire, but like, what are your thoughts about? And you can do this on a macro level if you want.
We need to talk about macro level. We're going to talk about the market.
That's up to you. Like what? I guess here's the fun one, right? Like one of my favorite lines: you go to a party or something, and you tell people that you're in real estate, and they're always like, "How's the market?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, what's typically your response to that? Just kind of broad stroke question.
I mean, if someone were to ask me that right now, like you just did, I would say in Austin proper, inventory is increasing, and that's stressful. And buyers, like I said earlier, are being extremely picky. I will say I feel like we are not seeing as much of a discount on sale price this year as we were last year.
Why do you think that is?
Because sellers have realized hey, I can't price my home for what I want. Like I need to be more realistic.
Yeah.
So that's really great. But it's interesting that buyers are still just kind of very hesitant. And some would say, oh, it's because rates are, 6.75, whatever. But it's honestly not a bad rate.
What do they need to get to?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I'll never forget.
Everyone's different.
I'll never forget. I was in 2020. I had a guy that we were pricing out a 15-year term, and we offered him a 1.99% interest rate.
Oh my gosh!
And he was like,
"Wait, when was this?"
This would have been, right about this time of year in 2020. Wow. And he was like, "Yeah, I got another company that's advertising a 1.875. Like, I'm gonna have, yeah, no." And so the point I'm trying to make is that, it's interesting. I mean, I think you already answered it. It's really interesting how people look at interest rate versus payment versus how much they pay for a property. Some people get really, really fixated on what am I paying for this property. Others get really fixated on what is my interest rate. And then, I've had instances where I've kind of reverse engineered a loan scenario where I'm like, hey, if you wanted to purchase this property, here's the payment. They're like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's totally within my wheelhouse. And they're like, what's the rate? And it's like, oh, it's, 6.25. They're like, ooh, and they're
That's so wild.
It happens all the time. Or we can run everything, because again, some people get really focused on the purchase price, and I've run things back where it's like, we do everything based on a specific payment, a specific interest rate. And they're like, okay, I love it. And then I'm like, yeah, this would allow you to purchase all the way up to 600,000. And they're like, oh my God.
Scary.
Yeah, they're like, I'm not doing that. And it's like, well, this is this is the payment that you said you were comfortable with, and this is what it will yield you. And
yeah.
Well,
I had a thought when you're talking. I also think it's worth, when you were talking about the micro market, there's also, I think you should also talk about the luxury market in Austin, because it's so different than the latter, because you're dealing with more cash buyers most likely, and they don't
they're not worried about rates.
Yeah. And so in that regard, on our team this year, we've been seeing multiple offers in the luxury world, stuff going in 3 days in the luxury world. So even those two markets are vastly different, which is very interesting, I think.
We talk about the deal and the diamond.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that are selling very, very quickly. If it's
Yep.
like a just no-brainer deal, or if it's like a very, to your point, sought-after home that like there really isn't another one out there. It could be location specific. It could be property specific. And those seem to be the two things that are selling very, very quickly. And then everything else is kind of, based on how it's priced. And yeah.
I'm just thinking about my listings right now.
Tell me about it.
Oh, which one do you want to hear about?
Well, before we get into that, I think one thing also worth noting, and this is where, I promised myself I would talk a little bit about my whole situation where I was willing to sell my primary residency for a lot less than even what I would think that the market would bear, right? And what I found really, really interesting is the lack of research that I feel like is being done in terms of comparable sales by buyers agents. So like we would intentionally price the property under what other homes were selling in the area, and people would just come in and be like, well, we'll make an offer at $20,000 less. And it would be like, well, show us the comparable sales that you utilized. And they're like, oh, we haven't even done that. Like, this is just what my buyer wants to like start negotiation or is willing to pay. And so that was surprising to me because I like to think that buyers agents have a little bit more control over their buyers. And, they're going to say like, hey, here's what the other homes are selling for. And they're already under that. But that didn't seem to matter. And then the other thing that started to become a reality for me was, I have an interest rate in the 2s, and the property will, it's going to rent roll. It's like going to be profitable. And so you start scratching your head.
Which
where
is
I
so
was
hard
like,
to get in Austin right now.
and I was like, well, yeah, to buy right now. But I mean, I purchased this property in 2019.
That's great.
And so it's like, I think there's a lot of sellers out there right now that are in that position to where it's like, I'm either willing to undersell this property, and that's fine, but I can't I can't take like a giant haircut and also dump a rate in the 2s.
Yeah.
Or 3s even if you have that, right? And I feel like that, and I'm not the real estate agent, but I feel like that might be one of the things that is really creating issues with the marketplace is because I think the buyer goes into it with the mentality like, this is a buyer's market. I'm going to ask for everything. I'm going to get a screaming deal. And they're not wrong, but then they're not taking into consideration like, okay, when did this client buy the home and what is the interest rate they currently have on their mortgage?
They're not being guided or advised the right way for what the
a lot
market
of them out there
is right now.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. So who do you think's going to win the battle? Is it going to be the stubborn seller with a 2.5% interest rate? Or is it going to be the buyers that are on, sitting on the fence? And then here's the crazy part. Like, if it is going to be the buyers, what's it going to take? Is it going to be rates? Because even when I'm seeing properties that are listed under market value, they just knee-jerk reaction want more. So it's like, is it really about the price, or is it like, what do you think?
I don't know. I literally have one of those listings right now, and I truly don't know. Well, they have decided to put it up for a lease.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So I'm like,
that's literally what I did.
I think that's what's going to happen. Like, we're just going to have a shit ton of rentals soon.
Well, and that's what's funny because you've got all these buyers that don't own homes and they're like, oh, I'm just going to rent and see what happens to the market. And it's like, you're just going to rent homes from everybody that's just going to go buy the next home that you wanted.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching it happen firsthand, and like, there's things I say on this podcast that I know to be factual, but then like it doesn't really seem to just, resonate until it happens like directly to me in my real life. And it's like, I don't know the true backstories behind some of these buyers that made offers, but I do know that the both of them don't own homes themselves.
Right.
And so, hypothetically, if either one of them were to have been like, you know what, we're just going to rent this market. We're just not finding what we want for the price that we want. We were able to rent our house in like
2 seconds.
It was so fast.
Yeah.
And because we can price it below rental because like we have been paying on it since forever and we have a low rate.
Totally.
And we're still making money. And it's like, So I worry about these first-time home buyers that are like, I'm just going to wait. It's like everybody that currently owns a home, there's a strong possibility that if they bought more than 5 years ago, they're just going to rent that home to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to go buy the home that you should have bought. And they're just still going to create this inventory problem.
I was going to say, it's frustrating and wild because there's so much inventory.
Yeah. But, you know,
it's like, how can you not find what you want?
What kind of inventory? Because here's what's interesting. I read a statistic that, and I don't know if it's the buyers or the sellers because I'm not a real estate agent, but the statistic was something along the lines of if you took out all the listings that had been on the market for 6 months or more,
Mm-hmm.
it would cut the inventory in half.
I believe that.
So then it becomes like, are sellers really just that like unaware of what they do? But this is where I thought. So when I listed my home, I thought these sellers are being greedy. I'm not going to be a greedy seller. I'm going to do my research with my real estate agent. We're going to even take like comparable sales and we're going to figure out like what is the lowest price point in this market. And I'm going to come in 5% under that as my initial offer or my initial like list price. Because I thought I'll list the home and I'll make up for the 5% on the buy side. That's what I thought. And then you like list 5% and then they're like, oh, well, we want it for 10% below that. And it's like, where are you coming up with these comparables? They're like, this is just what my buyer feels comfortable. This is what I would get. That's just what my buyer feels comfortable with at the moment. Like, okay, but like we're already 5% lower than every home within like half mile of here for these comps.
I have no idea that we have multiple people on our team dealing with that exact scenario. Like their buyer clients, they're just wanting to send these ridiculous lowball offers and like they don't have a reasoning.
Yeah, I mean, if you have comparable sales to show, like, hey, here's what they're selling for, and like we're coming in, you know, slightly lower.
Data says, then yeah,
right.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Well, I was going to tell you something. I was going to say there's a lot of sellers right now, you know, who can't list their home like you did super low because they're just so in the red. Like they would just be totally screwed.
Yeah, I mean, if you bought in like the last 3 years, and most of those are new builds, or they were originally new builds.
Yeah. Thinking about one of
your
mine
industry
right
did
now,
a bang up job of like rushing people to new builds so that they could date the rate and marry the house. I was so against that. I really was. And now I've come out of that and I talk so much shit and I pissed off a lot of agents and I came out of that so fucking rosy. I really did.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like beating my chest about it.
Good.
I really am. I've been like a dick about it since day one. But yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. This market's wild. It's been wild.
So what's it going to take?
I don't know.
I think it's going to be another I really do. I'll just throw out my prediction. I originally said that I thought we were going to really see things turn in 2027, and that was in 2025.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but I think we're going to continue to be in this exact market for probably another 18 to 24 months.
Yeah, because do you agree that we're kind of through the recovery stage?
Yeah.
And now we're just kind of stabilizing and getting comfortable
from
with,
a real estate standpoint.
Right,
yes.
from where we're at. We just need to get cozy in this spot. And then next year.
The only thing that I am always very mindful of, and I don't count on this, but I've seen this happen where, presidents are just, things have happened economically where interest rates for just real estate specifically have, gotten kind of manufactured.
Sure.
And even if interest rates, here's the crazy thing, and this is going back to what I was saying earlier. I don't think there's any specific rate that the general public has in mind that would make them
Agreed.
Jump.
Right.
But if interest rates do, hypothetically, if they buy a bunch of bonds, interest rates go down, and just the talk of like interest rates are going down seems to like get people interested. And then the moment interest rates stabilize or even go up, I find that unfortunately, the majority of my buyers or just people they're reactive. They're not proactive. I can't tell you how many clients when interest rates were in the twos were like, yeah, I don't think now's a good time to buy. We're currently in a pandemic. I don't know what. And then as soon as what was the best year? It was 2021.
Yeah.
Well, interest rates increased from the lowest levels that they had been in about November, December of 2020. But 2021 was the best year because reactively people were like, holy shit, these low rates are going away.
Right.
And I'm very interested to see because we have a Fed fund meeting and then there's a lot of talk that they are not going to raise the Fed funds rate, but the general public seems to think that there's a direct correlation between that and mortgage rates.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Fed rate hike and you start to hear your phone ring more.
Yeah.
Because people are like, Buck, like rates are going up.
Yeah.
I need to buy now,
It's like
which is
kind of
so
scare tactic.
silly.
Yeah, it's a mental game.
I swear it's the only industry. So I've said this like 100 times, but it's worth repeating. If you were to like be at a party or at like a honky tonk with a bunch of like couples and somebody started talking about how like they had bought a new car and they were working on it and that was like their hobby, there is no shame in being like, I don't know anything about cars. And that's totally acceptable.
Right.
Or you could say like, I don't know anything about politics or I don't know anything and no one cares. But you're supposed to somehow know everything about real estate.
Yeah.
And if you say like, oh, I don't know anything about real estate, you're afraid like someone's going to look and there's like 900 people. Well, and then there's like 900 people that have nothing to do with real estate that will tell you all
what
about
they know about it.
Exactly. Exactly.
I
It's
like
the
that.
craziest thing.
That is crazy.
And so I'm waiting for all of the like father-in-laws of the world to tell their children that it's now finally a good time to buy because when the licensed
Please
professionals
tell them, go tell them now.
because when the licensed professionals say, hey, here's all the metrics, here's the comparable sales, they're like,
It's like, no, we want it $100,000 less.
They're like-
what you said doesn't matter.
they're like, I need to know what my Uncle Billy says.
That's right.
Who like, is an auto mechanic. It's like,
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
He bought a house once.
This is your. Oh, he bought. I know what you're saying.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like he bought a house once, so he knows everything about real estate.
In 1980.
Correct. Correct. It's a weird thing. It's a very herd mentality. Like think about 2021.
Yeah, for sure.
Like people were making offers well over asking price, but yet everybody thought now's the time to do it. I don't really remember like we didn't even have time to really like go out and politic about who should or shouldn't buy because it was that busy.
I've heard
Yeah.
the stories.
But it's just wild that like the public decided.
Mm-hmm.
Like we didn't tell anybody, they decided. So I feel like we have no
Want
control.
that to happen again.
No, it was too much.
Yeah.
But I remember I had Ina in tears because we were so busy and I refused to take any kind of vacation or even like a staycation for that matter. And she was like, is this all we're going to do is work? And I was like, I promise you,
It's not going to last
this
forever.
will not last forever. You've got to trust me.
Yeah.
And we crushed it. And
That's
it was
awesome.
the right move because, yeah.
I just want the if we were looking at it on a graph, like just a nice little roller coaster.
Yeah, that's
that
what
would
everybody
be really
wants.
Cool.
Unfortunately, it's like being in a hurricane. Like once you're in it, it's like you don't realize it. And then when it goes away, you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So you just got to stay busy. But
Trying.
you will. Year
Buy
3
my
or
listings, guys.
Right?
Thanks.
What else do we need to know about the team, about the business, the market, the clients? Any asks? Like, what's the public service announcement for Sammy?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there has to be something that's top of mind right now in the last 30 days, other than buy my listings.
Yeah, buy my listings. Agents, just be good humans.
Agents be good humans.
Take care of your people.
How do we
They'll
get
take care of
subscribed
you.
to your fun local newsletter?
Send me your email address.
We just email you?
Uh-huh.
What's your email?
Sammy at LandyFrostGroup.com.
Right
you
on.
can follow me on Instagram and DM it to me. My Instagram is, I just changed it. Hang on, I have to look.
No, you look it up.
Remember.
I was on I'm on the email one, and I'm not just saying this. I've definitely done some of the things that you've suggested. Yes.
Thanks.
It's cool. I mean, it's like, you know how it is when you have a weekend that you know is not going to be just like totally gangbusters busy, and you're like, what's going on? And then I get that email, and I'm like, I'm actually going to read this.
It reminds me of stuff to do like in the city too. Like my husband and I went to Gamblers, the PBR competition thing on Friday night, and that was super fun. And that was on my weekender thing.
I've been to 3 or 4 of those.
Really? It was my first one, which like we always go to the rodeos, but I've never been to the PBR one.
They're totally different.
Yeah, very different.
And here's another trick about that. So what I've learned, I've been to 4 of them, and I am here to tell you that if you sit right outside the chutes, so like you can go and sit in a regular seat, pretty much like 90% of the seating, it's like $35, $40 or something.
Yeah.
But then when you look at like the map, to sit outside the chutes is like $250 per person. It's so freaking worth it.
Yeah.
And I've done it twice, and I've sat outside, and then it's like, because I've also at other sporting events, like I've sat 50-yard line at like a Browns game, right? I'd rather watch it on TV. Like you just don't get, but when you when you can like literally smell the bull's shit when he's like kicking stuff around, and that dude is like,
I do love the smell of like a farm, like cow patties.
I can't explain it. And you're like right there. The one time we were there, one of the bulls tried to jump over the like.
Oh my God.
I mean, they keep it so high that there was no way he was going to do it, but his dumb ass tried.
Yeah.
And it was just
They're
like,
dumb.
whoa. Well, they're pissed, you know? And it was like, wow, that was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
But the Instagram
Oh
handle
yeah,
for
okay.
you.
Instagram is Sammy with a Y, Evans ATX.
There it is.
Yeah. Give me a follow, DM me your email address, and I'll get you on my newsletter and weekender thing. And I won't spam you, I promise. Those are the only 2, like, you know, scheduled things that I send out.
No, Sammy's the real deal. She's not going to drive you nuts. I know it.
Okay, wait. I have one more
See,
PSA.
I knew something was going to happen.
Or maybe like little nugget of advice for other agents. Know your vendor list. Like, make sure you're recommending a vendor that you actually can stand behind.
Yeah.
It's so important. You refer them, they'll refer you.
Yeah. Well, here's a fun fact that we've said. 60% of buyers and sellers will not use you again as a real estate agent.
If you give them...
No, excuse me. They won't use you as a real estate agent if they've had a bad experience in the transaction, even if it's not your fault.
Yeah.
So like, because here's where I'm getting with this. I run into this situation a lot where an agent is not referring vendors. They're just allowing their buyers to, I mean, one of my things is like, I won't name any names, but sometimes as the lender, they'll get under contract and I'll say, hey, let me know when the inspection is because I want to make sure that there's not going to be any renegotiations or God forbid, you're not going to buy this home anymore. And I'm surprised. It doesn't happen often, but I'm surprised where they're like, yeah, I'm working on trying to figure out who I'm going to use as an inspector. And I'm like, well, did so-and-so give you any names? And they're like, no, they just told me to go online and like find out like who a good inspector is. I swear to God. And I'm just thinking, wow. And so I've actually asked some of these agents that do this, and their logic is, I don't want to refer someone because then if they have a bad experience with that vendor, it's my fault. And in their minds, if they don't refer a vendor and they have a bad experience, then they're not like culpable. And they're like, well, you chose like that lender, for example.
You'll still get blamed.
And I'm here to tell you, you're getting blamed no matter what. And they will not use you if they have a bad experience, even if it's not your fault. Yeah. So to your point, just backing you up that, I tell people you don't have to use me, but just please make sure that you know that you're who you're using.
And it's just one easy thing that we as advisors like can help our clients feel so cared for. Great hospitality.
Yeah.
You know?
I love
White
it.
glove service.
Unreasonable hospitality.
Unreasonable hospitality. Great book.
Do you know the story
Yes.
about that?
Oh, yeah, I do.
I took, no, the one with me personally.
Oh, with you? No.
So
tell me.
In 2023, so this would have been the end of 2023, the very beginning of the year, I decided that I was going to find like a book that I thought was, you know, really motivating. Mm-hmm. And I stumbled across this book when it just came out. I just searched it on Amazon and it had just hit the market. And so I listened to it on Spotify or like Audible. Because that book literally came out in like December of 2022. So I went out and bought 100 copies of it. And I wrote this personal letter and I mailed it out to like all of these agents that I was kind of like pursuing, right? And
I did not get that. Oh, wait, I don't know.
You weren't even an agent. Yeah, you weren't even an agent at this time. And what's really funny about it is like, of course, you know, like true agents, I'd say probably half of them wouldn't answer any of my phone calls, wouldn't like acknowledge that I sent it to them or anything like that. And then that book just exploded in the real estate community. And I know there's a ton of people out there with a copy of it with a giant sticker in the front cover because I put like my sticker and my contact information and everything in there. And what's been even more interesting is, you know, when like you have text messages from a long time ago, but then like you stop texting that person and then all of a sudden if you like meet them or retext, you see all of the like text messages.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've like reached out to listing agents because they're the listing agent on it. And I like gave up on them a long time ago. And then I'm like, oh, I actually know you. I sent you because now they want my fucking call, right? Because now they're like on the listing side in a slow market and they want to sell this home so bad.
Yeah.
And then they reach out to me and I'm like, oh, I remember you.
Oh, my goodness.
It's the beauty of being in the business a long time. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I remember you. I sent you a book. You remember Unreasonable Hospitality? Yeah, that's me.
So good.
And they're like, oh. So you got to always be like kind of nice, right? Like, there's another tip or trick.
Kind of nice?
Well, you know what I mean. Like they were never mean, but like, you know, respond back and say like, oh, thanks for the book.
Yeah. Oh.
It's all right.
I never read it.
It's hard being, no, I mean, it's a good point. It's a good point. It's a good point.
Because I read it, and if I were gifted that book and read it, my text message to you would be like, I loved this part, this part, this part, this part.
Right.
It's so good.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I had a lot of agents that were very grateful. They did exactly that, and that was fun. And I should do something like that again. It's just nobody fucking reads anymore, you know? Everybody does like the Audible and everything.
I do. I like have to buy the physical book.
All right, well, I
like
have a book
to
for
keep
you.
it. I'm in a book club right now in my neighborhood, and it's really fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Sammy, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks.
Remember, this isn't something that you just do one time. I'd love to have you back on in the next couple of weeks or months or whatever. Because what always happens is people will like come and then they'll call me like a week later and they'll be like, oh, I have something I want to talk about now.
I know. I was just about to say, I was very nervous coming into this, so I don't feel like I had any like great little nuggets to talk about, but I can very well see myself tomorrow being like, oh, Kershly, that was so much fun. I want to come back.
Yeah.
So.
Well, when you think of topics or things you want to touch on, make sure you write them down and you know you're always welcome.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
You're the best.